All right, let's keep it going, guys. I'm Jay Leno. Your next storyteller will be Margot Leitman. Margot Leitman.
Hi. Growing up, I was always obsessed with The Price is Right, but I wasn't allowed to watch it in my house because my father is a man with a genius IQ who went to college on a full scholarship at age 16. And he warned me, he said, "The Price is Right is for stupid people. We watch Jeopardy in this house." So I would sneak off upstairs and I would watch it alone and hide it like it was porn. So a few years ago, right after I got married, we were going through a hard time because the day after we got back from our honeymoon, my husband was laid off from his job. And we had an opportunity to come out to LA. We were living in New York at the time. And we had an opportunity to come out here. And I thought, well, while we're here, why don't we go to a taping of The Price is Right to cheer you up? Really, it was because I'm obsessed with it and I wanted to go, selfish reasons. So before I went, I asked everybody I knew who knew anything about The Price is Right, which apparently everybody did. And they all gave me advice. They're like, be a normal person, Margot, for one day of your life. Act normal. Pretend you have a normal job. Pretend you don't do anything in entertainment. Just be the most normal person ever and you'll get picked. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. So I bought a size XXL hot pink I Heart NY t-shirt. I wore it to the taping and I decided I would play up the fact that I teach a 3-hour class one day a week in the art of storytelling, that suddenly I would be a full-time teacher. And I go there and I fill out the form, why should you get picked? And I do the sob story. My husband got laid off. We just got married. We've got no money. I'm a teacher. So I wrote that. And right before we go in, they ask us all in the group interview to talk about ourselves. So they're going down the line. What's your name? What do you do? What's your name? What do you do? What's your name? What do you do? They come to me. They go, what's your name? I go, Margot. They go, what do you do? I go, I'm a teacher. And I'm ready for them to move on. They go, what do you teach? And I go, I teach the art of storytelling to adults. And they go, what? What does that mean? And I go, kind of like what David Sedaris, like I teach that. And they went, and the guy took his pen, he went, oh, all right, David Sedaris, and then wrote that down. So then right before we go into the studio, I pass the security guard, and I go, what do I gotta do to get picked? And he goes, oh, you gotta pray. Which is a really hard thing to say to me because I've prayed twice in my entire life. I'm not a prayer. My father also told me God doesn't make sense. So for me, it was like I've prayed twice. Once when my friend had a baby and the baby was born sick, and another time when I found out somebody I knew had AIDS. So I was like, the third prayer is really going to be to be chosen to play Plinko. So I didn't pray. And I go on into the studio, and the Price is Right studio is an exact replica of what is going on in my mind at all times. I cannot express this more. It was like giant wheels, glitter, you never have to grow up, nothing ever changes. And I was like, oh my God! I really did feel at home there. And then the show begins, and I sit down, and they go, Tom Smith, come on down. Sonny Jones, come on down. Margot Leitman, come on down. And I jump up, and my husband jumps up to hug me. I physically shove him out of the way. And I run down, like Hilary Swank with her Oscar. I was like, this is my time. And I go. And I get up there and I'm freaking out. And then they're like, and then out comes the soccer equipment, like goals, cleats, jersey. And they go, how much is the soccer equipment? Tom's, how much is the soccer equipment? Sonny, how much is the soccer equipment? Margot, how much is the soccer equipment? Closest to the actual retail price. Margot, come on stage. Margot, how would you like to win? A new car. And I'm like, oh my, and I fall to my knees. And I start I'm screaming, but nothing's coming out of my mouth. And then I have a couple bets that I can bet on, what the price of the car is. But here's the issue. I don't know the price of a car. I'm sorry. I know this is LA. But, in high school, I lived walking distance from my school. Then in college, I didn't have enough money for a car, so I just bummed rides. And then I lived in Manhattan for 10 years. I've never even looked into purchasing a car. So I get 1, 2 guesses. I'm out. So I sit down, and I start to process what has just happened. And then during the commercial break, Drew Carey starts interviewing me in front of the entire studio audience about my thinly veiled career as a teacher. And he's like, so what do you do? And I'm like, oh, I'm a teacher. And he goes, what do you teach? And I go, I teach the art of storytelling to adults. And he goes, what? That sounds like a made-up job. And I go, I kind of teach like what David Sedaris does. I'm not kidding. The whole audience went, oh, David Sedaris. And then I'm off the hook. And then I sit down and I have a realization. I'm going to spin that wheel. I'm going to spin that wheel. I'm going to land it on $1. And when I land it on $1, I'm going to get a $1,000 bonus prize. Then I'm going to get an extra bonus spin. I'm going to land it on a green square. I'm going to win $25,000. Then I'm going to go to the Showcase Showdown. I'm going to bid within $250 of the actually to price, therefore winning both showcases. This is my destiny. But what happens is I get up to spin the wheel, which is much heavier than you might think it is. And I go to spin it, and Sonny spins before me and lands it on $1. So I'm done. I sit down. I realize this is it. All I've won is this goddamn soccer prize pack. And then the producers tell us after the show that you can either take your prize pack and pay the taxes on it, or you can forfeit and take nothing. And I'm not going to pay the taxes on the soccer prize pack, please. I live in Manhattan. What am I going to do with the goals, cleats, and jerseys? So I go to the back, and we're all filling out the forms, and I'm the last one to fill out my forms. And I'm really ready to say, I will walk with nothing but the experience. And they say to me, Margot, we're sorry, there's an issue with your soccer prize pack. I said, what? They go, we're out of it. I go, but I just saw it on the stage. And they said, we're going to have to give you the cash value. And I said, well, what's the cash value? They go, $1,664. And I went, what? And I lost my mind. And I filled out the form, and I ran out of there past the same security guards. And he looks at me, and he goes, you got picked? And I went, yeah, I prayed. Thank you.
Margot Leitman.
Okay.